Let's start.
And we're live. Yeah.
Okay, just 1 second. I briefly check one thing and I want to make sure that things are muted. We are live. Cool. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm just removing the sound. Okay. Hey, welcome everyone. We are starting our session today. Yes, though there is, I already see some questions. We get back to the questions, if it's possible, in a couple of minutes. So, and you will have enough time to install all extra dependencies that we have. So, welcome everyone. Happy to see you here. It's our eventually second edition of participating in Global AI Bootcamp. Last time we participated last year. So today probably we have new joiners. We have our regular joiners. I just spend a little bit more time on the new joiners, if the old one don't mind. So we are PyLadies Amsterdam. We are a local chapter of the global PyLadies community. What we usually do mostly is running workshops. However, today it's a little bit different. It's not our standard format. So usually we run workshop, we have a specific topic, we have a workshop giver, and then it's up to you to decide which way you want to proceed with the workshop. Do you want to follow along and then just do exercises? We give time for that. Or you want to just watch it and then later getting access to the repository, rewatching the stream, pause it when you want to repeat something. So it's up to you to decide how. However, today's event is a little bit different, as I already mentioned, because it's a Global AI Bootcamp where you get an opportunity to experiment with different workshops. And for these workshops, we today can provide Azure credits, which means if you don't have your own Azure subscription, you can get one from us. The follow instructions will be there later. So without further ado, let me start sharing my screen. Yes, if everything is correct, so you see it right now. Just let me double check if it's the case.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. So, and we're seeing it, right? Bhumika, just to double check.
Yes, I'm seeing your screen with the Global AI Bootcamp page.
Okay, and okay. I just want to check that it's also transmitted to the record. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are a part of Global AI Bootcamp today. So it's literally a series of free one-day events, which happens globally. And just for you to understand the geography of it, these are the locations which participate. So almost the whole world. I don't know why Australia, by the way, is excluded, but at least we have New Zealand. So yeah, nice to be a part of it. So usually when this Global AI Bootcamp was started with a sort of keynote. However, in this time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share the link to the keynote with you in the chat because the keynote duration is 45 minutes. I just can briefly mention what this Global AI keynote about. Is mostly about unlocking the potential of AI, so you can listen to different experts in this field and learn what you can do more with AI capabilities and the cloud. So what I'm going to right now do, I'm just sharing this link with in the chat. So when you have time later, you can get back to it and literally watch it. Let me put it in the chat. Yeah, okay, add it to the chat. I also later gonna add it to the repository. So just for you to know, in your free time, feel free to get back to this keynote. So now we're gonna go to our repository. I'm also copying the repository link. Let me just grab it. Yep. Copy link. Great. And I'm just putting it again in the chat. So what's going to happen during the next 2 hours? We have a surprise for you. It's around 20 minutes before the end of the workshop. We're going to work we're going to get a light and talk about a really interesting person, because we're here today to learn. And this person going to talk a little bit about the nice thing of how you handle your giant career and life leaps. And she's a really interesting person with a really interesting background. So we get back to her later. So today we have 3 workshops to choose. You can pick up one workshop, or you can pick up a couple of them and then decide in which order you want to continue. So with this one, now I can briefly look at the question that you had, Magdalena, just one moment. Okay, so Azure ML extension, also need Azure ML remote. Just Azure ML sufficient. So there was a question from a person, and it was about what should we have installed. So by default, it's Visual Studio Code with Python extension and Azure ML extension. It should be enough. If there are any other specific installations needed, they're usually listed into the specifications of the workshop. So before getting to the usage part, and if you have Azure subscription, you can just pick up a workshop. I give some explanations about each workshop in a bit. And if you don't have your own Azure subscription, there are a specific subset of steps that you need to perform. And for one step, you need the event code. So we were thinking what's the best way to distribute it. So I would say for this one, you have access to Meetup. On a Meetup, you can send a message. And if you want to send a message, you can just send a message into, I just put my name and surname in the YouTube chat. So just send me a direct message saying that I need an event code to get an Azure subscription. So if you just send me it via Meetup, I'm going to respond to you directly. And if it doesn't work, then we'll figure out another way of doing this. So the reason why we do only streaming part today, because we are changing the provider, and literally probably from the next event, we're going to use another tool for video setup and video streaming. So regarding Azure subscription, just to repeat, if you have your own Azure subscription, okay, then just we get back to the description of the workshops, which you can choose today. And if you don't have Azure subscription, you can follow the steps that you see on the screen. You can see also the steps if you just click on the URL of our GitHub repo, which is shared with you in our chat. And after that, contact me on a Meetup directly, and I will send you the event code. One piece of information about this Azure subscription, usually we get this type of questions, how I can use it, whether it's going to stay for me after the workshop. So if you don't have subscription, then this subscription is done for you. It has its own limitations. I don't know exactly the size of credits and all of that, which is available, but normally it should be enough for you to try out all 3 workshops. And we really highly encourage you to use this subscription for the workshop purposes. So now I think we can get back to the quick workshop description. So we had 3 workshops today. One workshop probably is already recognizable by some of you because it was a part of Global AI Developers. But now I want to focus on the workshop 1 and workshop 2 mostly, and then I get back to workshop 3. So workshop 1 is really interesting, which is literally show you what are the capabilities Azure has for creation of the model, which literally later could be debugged using a responsible AI dashboard. So for example, if you get used to work with, let's say, TensorFlow ecosystem, then there is a really nice tool which is called What If, and you have also the TensorFlow board, where you can literally understand what kind of errors your model makes and why, try to get to the point and debug why the model do this. So I would say is something resembling this one, but it also has other interesting features and capabilities. So literally the whole point of this workshop will be really quickly to train your own small model. And then after that, use this responsible AI dashboard to debug a model. And there are different components, different steps, different dimensions in which you can do model debugging. But let's say this workshop will provide you with an overview of the usage of this responsible AI dashboard. And I think it's pretty important part because usually this part is pretty neglected. And I would say if you have this before, then you can get to the point of faster debugging and better results, and also providing some visibility and explanation. So it's not just a black box model anymore, but it also the understandable, clear model. Okay, so that's this workshop if you want to pursue it. Another workshop is about machine learning with Azure ML setup. It uses AutoML, so if you ever wondering how AutoML works, what it is, it's a nice place to try it out. And it also have a piece of model explainability in it. And the third workshop will be a little bit harder, I would say. So if you have less experience with, for example, working with applications, and you mostly were focusing on the data science part of the job, I would encourage you to first try out workshop 1 and 2, and after that, go into workshop 3. But if you want to go straight to the most difficult parts, then feel free to work with workshop number 3. So workshop number 3, it's about literally using the cognitive AI capabilities of Azure. In this case, you're going to work with a thing which is called Form Recognizer, which is a machine learning model trained by Microsoft on specific data for specific purposes. And then this model is exposed via API, and you're literally going to interact with this model. So you don't need to, let's say, build something on your own. You're just using already provided model for you via API, and this will be the capabilities. And you're building literally a small app that can help to read the that will help you to check the handwritten form and get and extract information from that. So for now, for those who wants to start, I will have a short break for 5 minutes to check the messages that we got from you, and I get back to it. So let me just check what we get for the code events, and I'm going to share the code now. And you have the instruction how to do, and if you got stuck somewhere, just let us know. I mean, if you get stuck somewhere, for those who needs Azure subscription, I'm going to share the event code with those who just ask for it. And if you get stuck on somewhere on the steps, just let us know. And you can just let us know via YouTube chat later. So we're just using Meetup literally to securely share the code with you. And for those who are going to watch this recording after, unfortunately, we're not able of distributing codes after the workshop. So we're doing it only for the sake of be used during the workshop. Okay, let me check quickly what we get so far, and then we get back. Okay, cool. So I see a couple of messages. Great. In the direction of responding you with these messages. Okay. Okay. Code. And I think, okay, just let me double check that I send it to every, yep. Okay. So I do hope that if you're getting it, if you send in me a message, I'm now responding to your messages. I do hope that you get it. Just to double check. Yeah. And I'm just checking in between the instructions. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we get a couple of requests. I responded to a request. Let's see further. Great. Thanks. Ding. Let's see. I see some of you. I think what would be really, really valuable for me as well, if you get the code for me, just replace to me that you get it. If don't, let's see, because sometimes it's works weird. Yeah, let's check. And I'm gonna do, for those who didn't follow through, I'm gonna send it once again. Let's check. How does it work? I refresh in my browser in the meantime. Yeah, so just like a short instruction, if you get a code from me, just send like, I got it, or thank you, or something. And we get back to it. Okay, cool. More people got it. Great, great. Let's see. It's really funny because on the mobile phone, I have a Meetup app installed, and it gets great response faster than the browser. Cool. Okay, good. Yes, here we had guts. Okay. Okay. So I think from all the batch of the messages that I get and responded, I'd see only one person didn't responded to me yet, that the person gets the code. So let's see. Good. Okay, and really nice thing. So it worked when you refresh the browser. Yes. So if you're waiting for the code, just refresh your browser. If you're looking at Meetup from the browser. So yeah, so far I see thank you, got it, thank you. Yeah, so I think only one person didn't respond to me yet. So let's see how it goes.
Alyona, there are
Yes.
some messages on the Meetup event chat.
Okay, I got them from there. There because I'm responding to the personal messages. I got it. Thanks, Bhumika. I will get back to it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Ta-da. Let me check. In the meantime. Ta-da-da. Cool. Get into the chat. Ooh. Okay, so yeah, I get back. Thanks. I'm just reaching out to these people and just replying to them. Thanks a lot. So I don't know. Check. Okay. Yes, let's get to this, people. I know if you're not like heavy user of the Meetup, sometimes it's confusing. So stay with me. So for those who put their messages in the chat, I am just reaching out to you. So just wait. Yep, there are at least 2 people. So yeah, 3 people. Okay, yeah, 3 people on this chat. Yep. Wait for me. It's in the process. Almost there. It was a long work day, and laptop not always wants to cooperate with me, and my brains as well. So let's see. Almost refreshing the browser. Okay. Oh, at least, okay, this person found out. Okay, good. I'm getting back. Yay. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly. Yep, great. Okay, so I start reaching out to the people in the big chats. Okay. Okay, so Andre. Yes, cool. You're the best people. While I was looking for you here, you already reached out to me directly. Awesome. Let me check. I think there are more people there. Okay, this check. Okay. Yep. Okay. There are 2 more people to go. Okay. Oh, yeah, cool. Thanks that you're reaching out to me. I'm just responding to you with the event code number. Okay, so the last person to go, I think, yep. And Bhumika, thanks a lot for catching this up. Okay, so I see 4 people from that chat. Okay, 3, only 1 person left. Okay, cool. The last person. Yeah. Okay. So there was a question. I will just read it out loud. So do the link to the workshop on GitHub get deactivated post-a-day workshop? No. So the link to workshop stays, the video records, this video record stays, GitHub stays, links to the workshop stays as well. Only one thing that will not be active anymore, that's the possibility to activate, to get an Azure subscription. So literally, we have this window to get Azure subscription during the duration of our workshop, which is from 6 to 8. So later, literally, probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow can still be active because of the duration of the bootcamp, which is 3 days in a row. But I'm pretty sure that after 4 of March, there will be no possibility to get a free Azure subscription for this workshop. But GitHub links and everything will stay with you. I would say, I would try to say almost forever, but that's what it is. Okay, and then I think the last one that left. Yeah, let me check. There is one more person, sorry, that I didn't respond to. Just a second, sorry about that. I'm getting back to you. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so last person, just let me double check. If I pronounce the name correct, the name of the person will be Caroline. So I'm just going to the, let me send it to you, please. So you know that it's coming. Okay, so the last person that I didn't reply to, I just sent a message to Caroline. Please check as well. Okay, so for the rest, I see they got the code, great, work was refreshed, got. Okay, so now I'm only concerned about the last person, Caroline. Just, I also will be refreshing browser to make sure that you get the code. Right, great. And I'm just responding right now in the bigger chat. Thanks for reaching out directly to me. Yes, and okay, so I also replied to the chat. Let me just double check that I'm not lost not anyone. Okay, get. Okay, cool. Here we go. Yeah, okay, I'm just checking. Yeah, okay, awesome. I'm happy that you get the code too. Okay, so now take your time to go through the steps to get your Azure subscription set up. Sometimes it can take some time. So let's see how it goes. Okay, now we're waiting, and then I get back to some probably workshop explanation. We will see. And in the meantime, if you get any questions, so anything not related to getting the code, just feel free to post on YouTube and I'm going to pick it up immediately. So only code we prefer not to distribute because it's secret code for our specific event. So let me check where we are. Okay. Okay, great. So we have more. Good. Cool. Yep. So for now, I'll just give you some time to set it up and then let's see. In the meantime, just a quick reminder why Visual Studio Code, just because it was tested on Visual Studio Code and we know that it's working well. And on Visual Studio Code, you have this nice Azure ML extension, or if you're using Azure for other purposes, Azure extension, which allowed you to do much stuff easier without going back and forward from your Azure subscription back to Visual Studio Code and other way around. So that's why we're using Visual Studio Code. I'm personally work with different IDEs, but the majority of the time I'm working with Visual Studio Code because I'm using it for different languages and working with different cloud providers. That's why the set of extensions available make me happy, at least for this one. Okay, so let's see how it goes for those who is getting so far. Let me check. Do there any other people that needs this needs the subscription? Cool. So there was a question. So where do I find the steps for the setup? So the steps for the setup right now on the screen. And if you just click on our, what I'm sharing right now, I'm sharing our GitHub repository, which has these steps. So to get this, first you need to navigate to this, which open for you like registration prompt where you need to enter your name and your real email, because if you get fake email, you don't get the confirmation. So as soon as you enter it, you get this. After that, you get the activation link, which requires you to enter the code that I distributed with you secretly. And then after that, we go into, you get an Azure Pass. And after that, when you go to Azure page, so you get the Azure Pass, it activates the web page, and from that further you can go to the usage of the subscription. If I didn't answer your question, could you formulate it? Then I know what exactly kind of steps you're further looking for. This is for those who ask. Okay. What do we have here? I'm just checking a couple of screens in the meantime. Cool. Let me check again whether do we have any new requests. Okay, great. And question answered. I'm happy. Good. And let's say when you set up, when you get through all these steps and you get your Azure subscription, then after that, you can decide which of the workshop you want to follow. But for now, I'm just keeping this on the screen. Oh, thanks for the comments. And I also just want to share one thing, like, is it your first ever time to do anything with a cloud provider? You know, like, don't worry. Like, we all were in this situation like some time ago. So it's completely okay. Is it your first time? And in this way, you have like a guided way to try it out in a safe way. So yeah, you're welcome. And that's why we're doing this. And I'm happy that this Global AI Bootcamp happening right now in 77 locations. Wow. Of course, taking into account time difference. Okay, let's check. How this going? I see there are a couple of people who joined later, so let me quickly repeat what's happening here for now. So if you have your own Azure subscription, you can just go and literally check the workshop you want to try out. You'll feel free to try all of them. There is some slightly hierarchy in this one. So the workshop number 1, workshop number 2, I would say would be doable if you have some basic understanding of Python and do something with machine learning before. If not, still try it out. You will learn a lot of interesting stuff. The workshop 3 required a little bit more, I would say, work, because it has also building and deploying a small app, which required a little bit more skills. So I would say if it's you just like your first time to try out, you've never done anything in the cloud before, then go for workshop 1 and workshop 2. And then when you're more confident, go to workshop 3. And if you have your own Azure subscription, yeah, feel free, pick up workshop and go. If you don't have Azure subscription, there is a way to get one for having this workshop. In this case, what you need to do, there is a specific set of instructions that you need to follow. They can be all found in our GitHub repo. The link is shared in this YouTube chat. And what do you need to do? You need to reach out to me on the meetup via direct message. So in this case, also in this chat, you can find out my name and surname, so you can find me on a meetup to address me directly. So yeah, and I think the Bhumika is doing a beautiful job and also replying in the chat. Awesome. That's what you feel the power of teamwork. Cool. Okay. And there is some concern that it took some time to figure out. Don't worry, it's okay. We're here to learn today. So if at least you learn at least something small, it's already a huge win-win for everyone. And you're not alone. There are, I don't know how many people. We can just, Bhumika, can we do the basic calculation? If it's 77 location.
77, at least 10 people per location, so 770,000 people, 772,000 people probably.
Oh, I think it's for me it sounds a little bit too exaggerated. No.
Okay, if we take 5 people per location, then that's still 300 at least. So
Okay.
you're not alone.
Yeah. And let's say what I just I close it. I just want to get back for it 1 second. So that was showing that if you look at the map, look at this map, like all of these locations, it's like mind-blowing. I would say almost all continents participate in excluding Antarctica, but I wish I would also want to see someone from Antarctica joining, probably in some research center, if it's possible. But anyway, yeah, but this is what, and if I'm zoom, I can zoom, I think. Yay. Look, and here you are, here with us today. You should be proud of. Okay, I'm getting back to the workshop mood. Let's check. Are there any other things popping up for now? And the person which is named Needy, if I'm pronouncing correctly. So now I send you code. I just want to make sure they got confirmation that you got the code. So just to make sure that you get it. Because for the rest, I see that's already there. Okay, good. At least setting up. Cool. Okay, I'm getting this. Okay. Okay, there is a question on the YouTube chat. So this is my first time here. How do I have access to? Yes, so if it's your first time here, welcome. If you need an Azure pass to get it, you need to send me a direct message on Meetup. So you subscribe to, if you don't, part just to make sure, like, just let me share the name of the group here. Yeah, let me double check. And I'm going to share it with you right now. Yeah. Okay, so there is instruction for the person named Benson, if I've pronounced your name correctly. So what you need to do, you go into our Meetup page. Let me just quickly share it with you. I also shared it in YouTube chat. It doesn't work as fast as I want. So I'm just putting it right now to YouTube. Okay, so what you do, you go in, you became a part of our community as soon as you join our community, then you can message me directly. I will see your message here. So literally when you just, I will show you, I think it will be probably easier to show. Just 1 second. So if you go into our page, let me copy it. I open it's another one. Yep. Why it takes so long? Yes, so if you are on our web, okay, I'm gonna skip this. So it's simple and easy way to message me even. So if you're just on our meetup page, PyLadies Amsterdam, here we have the link to orgs, and Alona G, it's me. So if you just say send a message, it prompts you to log into, to Meetup, and there you have an opportunity to message me directly, just a quick way. Or other way around, you can put a message in the chats and I do it. I will reach out to you, but I need to see your username on the Meetup. Then I can share the link with you. Okay. Okay, and I see the Azure Pass works smoothly. Cool. I'm happy that it works smoothly for you. Great. And I also forget to mention, because we're streaming, there is at least a couple of seconds delay. So sometimes for me, it looks like, oh, it happens. It takes ages. Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. Let me answer this question. So there is a question, which workshop should I use? I have experience with some ML on Google Cloud. Great. I did with ML workshop 3. Should I go for 1, 2? So Magdalena, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, it's up to you. You can, if you had already some experience, yes, go and try out workshop 3. And if it will be like too hard for you, you can always, take a short break, take a time to think, to get to know more about, because I will briefly walk you through each of the workshops, and I'll just show you this component. So I would say try with workshop 3. It's great. And then you can always get back to workshop 1 or workshop 2, because with this Azure Pass, you will be capable of trying all of them. So probably not all of them today, because it can be also too overwhelming and too much for you. But let's say tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, yeah. And this Azure subscription, so as soon as you activated it, it has some specific amount of credits in it. So literally until you run out from these credits, this is when it stopped working. So you have at least a couple of days definitely to try out different stuff. One thing, if you try one workshop, don't forget to, there is always a requirement and then so the workshop, remove all to make sure that it's not consuming the resources further, which means that you have time and let's say credits, cloud credits, which allow you to try out other workshops as well. Let me just switch on the light. It's a little bit dark here. And also I'm gonna grab a glass of water for me. So just a second. Okay, let me check first whether there are any. Yeah, great that you get explanation. Let me just check. What's there? Are there any other stuff popping up? And then I get back to go through the workshops. Okay, great. The pattern get the code. I'm happy about that. Cool. Okay, it looks like there is no new messages. Good, good. So in a couple of minutes, I will walk you through each workshop a little bit, just like a short teaser. Also, all 3 workshops created by different people. That's why the style of the workshops could be different. They are not standardized. But it's also its beauty in it, because then you see how each of the workshop creators structure their workshop and provide some explanations. That's the beauty of it as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. I think I will perform the last short round of checks to make sure that we're not missed any person, and then I get back to you. Just forget to add another chat, so I'm adding it here right now. Okay. Probably hear me typing, so I will be trying not to type a lot in order not to distract you. Okay, I get a new request for Azure code. Just sending it right now. Okay. Good. And I'm also checking another thing. Cool. I see the recent addition to our members. So just reply with a code. And for the last person to join, so I send the code. I just want to get a confirmation from you that you got this code. Just like if you send me something like got it or something, it would be really, really valuable. Thanks a lot. Okay, cool, great. Thanks. So now we all, so for the last person to join us, just a quick reminder. So here we have the instruction of how to use it. Just follow these steps and you get back to it. Of course, I can send you the event code too. Definitely. For the secret person who wants to get the event code and probably try one of the workshop, yes, try it. Highly recommend to try the first one. I'm really curious to hear your opinion about the responsible AI dashboard. The secret person know what I'm talking about. Cool. Thanks for acknowledging it as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. Got in this. Let me check here what we have here. Yes, okay. This goes. Yeah. Oh, Bhumika, you're the best. Thanks for pinning the GitHub repo. You're the best, really.
You're welcome.
Oh. Cool. Okay, here we go. And for the last person to get the code, if you get across any issues, let us know. For the secret person, only one thing, make sure that you activate the subscription today, okay? Just to make sure that you get the code and the activation subscription works. Great, this here. I'm just going through another round of checks to make sure that we not miss a lost. No, it looks nice here. Great, here as well. Okay, here as well. Good. Good. I hope now we answers all questions. This. By the way, regarding the person named Magdalena, I'm also really curious if you have some experience working with ML on Google Cloud. I'm just wondering, was it like Vertex AI platform or just was like separate services? And I'm also really curious later after the workshop to know your opinion, let's say the comparison to if you use Vertex AI, let's say how the difference and like the functionality. Because I'm mostly working with two cloud providers. I'm working mostly with Azure and a little bit with AWS. And I had really almost zero experience with Google Cloud. So I'm really curious. I heard about Vertex AI platform. I'm just curious, how does it work? But it's not for now, just later after the after the workshops and all of that. Just a personal interest. Okay, it looks like now we're more or less set up. Some of you already started, probably. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there is a nice question. So I see that the person mentioned that we have specific amount of credits, a specific time till April. Is it possible to try all 3 workshops of this period, or the cap will limit the usage and once if we take up 3 workshops? So the thing is how this Azure passes work, it's really country dependent. So different countries have different conditions. That's why for me it's hard to say whether it will be enough, because the cost of the services on Azure also could be different for different locations. So something that cost this amount in the Netherlands could have completely different amounts, completely different cost in, for example, other countries. So based on what I see, based on the condition that I see, so normally how does it work? As soon as the credits are exhausted, then you need to decide what to do further, or you need to pay with your money to, let's say, to extend the duration of it. That's how it works. So I would say it could be the situation that it will be not enough for all 3 workshops. So to say which workshop will be probably, let's say, cheaper to run, let me double check. I will get back to you. But also, once again, the pricing is different with different locations. So let me check and I get back to you. So I mute myself for a couple of seconds. Okay, sorry, I had some pretty decent background noises. Okay, so getting back to the question, let me check. So what do we have here? So let me just walk briefly through the different workshops, and based on that, you can also, let's say, estimate briefly what it will be enough or not for all 3 workshops. But usually it's not about, so it's or money or time, and the money has the first priority, of course. So if the credits are run out, then it doesn't matter until which period. If you not top it up, then you don't get access to it anymore. But it also, because we're using this, it's like the educational subscriptions, which you're using for learning purposes. That's why it has some specific limitation. And as I just mentioned, it's really region dependent. So, okay, let me check the steps of action for each workshop. Based on that, I can, let's say, a little bit try to estimate, not regarding the cost, but at least to indicate which of the workshops are less, let's say, it's going to consume less credits than the other. Let me check. And for Magdalena, yes, cool, thanks. Let's chat about it after the workshop, then when you have time. I'm just curious about specific features and functionality. Okay, so let me check the first one and this one. Okay, so I'm just checking for each workshop. So this is the first one, which is Machine Learning Responsible AI Dashboard workshop. So we get this description of the data, duration, okay, to the credits. Also here, as I mentioned, you have a tip. So if you want to preserve your Azure credits, sure to shut down everything at the end of the workshop to make sure that it's not consuming the resources. And just one quick thing. Okay. Let me check one thing briefly. Okay, great. Yeah. So the proper screen is shared. Okay. Okay, so here we get, sorry, I was on the first page. Sorry. Getting back to the first page, to the first workshop, Responsible AI Dashboard. So we're setting up. I just want to say which compute is used, so then I know more about that. I was checking it. Okay. And while I'm checking, there are some messages popping up. Let me double check them. In the meantime, looks like nothing here. What do we have here? Yeah, great. Okay, great. So getting back to the person who has a question about this, like the duration of the workshop, using cloud-based ML for the first time is great. That's what I'm saying, like some people that using the first time. So yeah, it's okay. Start with workshop 1. Okay, good. Also good. So one tip, I'm just gonna repeat it. So if you're done with one workshop, make sure that it says like shut down your compute, make sure that you literally like remove everything. There is nothing consuming your resources, which means that you will see that you still have credits to continue with another one. So this is the good part of it. So yeah. Also here it says that for Responsible AI Dashboard workshop, it's gonna cost you 2 hours. Don't worry if you're gonna cost you more time. If you do it the first time, definitely it's not be 2 hours. It's probably will be today, a little bit of, I don't know, tomorrow after work or after study, and then probably weekend. It's okay. It's okay if it's not, let's say, you done it in one piece, only one thing. As soon as you start in using specific resources, you need to stop them. Otherwise, if you're going to stretch it into a couple of days, it can just eat all of your credits. And the most costly part is usually so-called compute. So for the first workshop, let's check which compute is used here. Because usually the compute consume a lot of, but also if using other services. But for now, the compute will be the most resource eating one. Yeah, the training, you get this overview. Yeah, great. And then you go to the dashboard. I'm checking the next round of messages. So there is a question. I've been trying to start a compute for the past 10 minutes. How long should it take? So it depends on which workshop you're starting. Sometimes also depends on the size of compute and the setup. If it's first time, it could take up to 15 minutes. So it's okay for you to wait. You need to worry on in case you get the red one and that error, something weird happen. Usually if it's error, it's explain you what type of error you got, but it's okay. It usually takes time. Yes, it takes time. Unfortunately, I could say like exactly, but usually around 15 minutes. Yeah. And I will take a short break. For the streaming capabilities, we have like 1 hour cap. So I'm taking short break and let's do 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, we're gonna proceed with the stream further. So just a short break right now, 7 o'clock and 7:05, we'll start further. Bhumika, will it be enough to stop and restart it?
Yeah, it's more than enough.
Cool. Okay, then we can do this. So literally, still, some people have still compute to start. So we have this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get back at 7:05 to continue. I've now stopped sharing my screen. Yeah, Great. Time for break.
Yeah, YouTube always takes a minute or two to respond. So.
It's good. We have all the time.
Yeah, we're live.
Cool. Okay, so if alive, welcome back to me and to the rest of the people. I'm wondering for those who are starting compute instance, is it like clear? Is it already done or is still in the process or is still hanging? I'm just curious to know. Let me know. Okay. Okay. I completely forgot to share my screen. Hey. I will read it. Still running. Ah, I'm just curious what type of. Let me just check what type of instance it was. Okay. And for Bhumika, could you please confirm to me that my screen is sharing?
Yes, I see the GitHub.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So that is still running. I just want. So Claire, are you running the first workshop or the second one? Because in the second one it was AutoML, if I'm not mistaken, and this one was without. I'm just wondering. Workshop one. Okay. I'm just gonna briefly check what type of compute instance it is. I'm just wondering why it takes too much time. Yes, it's like 10, 15 minutes, but I think it's running for longer. Computer, okay, that was provided here. Okay, standard distance. Yeah, it should be. As far as I see, it's like this pretty small instance, so it's not the big one. That's really interesting. Probably you can do Claire, I'm thinking, but still it's still running. Let's wait, let's say for max extra 10 minutes. And if within 10 minutes nothing happens, then we need to literally recreate. We need to kill this compute instance and then we need to start to create the new one because it takes time, but I think that it's also like too long because it depended on the size of it. If it's really big, it takes a lot of time, of course, to spin it up. But it's like the standards, not the big one, at least from what I see in the description. And by the way, also don't worry. So the biggest credit eaters are compute instance. So if it's initiating, I would say nothing. It's not like charging you ads. So it's charging you as soon as it's initiated and running because you're paying for usage. It's like 28. It's not so small, but it's standard. I'm just checking. It's like the general purpose compute instance. I'm just checking the why it takes so long to start. I'm just wondering. And by the way, if there anybody else who is working on workshop one and also still have the workshop running, yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there are anybody else who experienced such an issue. Let me check. What also could be the case, although I doubt, because it's like learning subscription, it has the lowest priority in comparison to other subscriptions. It also could be because like it's evening, probably a lot of, I don't know, in your region probably, but no, I think it's not necessary to it. Probably just like something went wrong with a specific creation. Yeah, so it's better to kill it and start the new one, literally. Sometimes it happens. And then when you create the new one, don't forget to change the name here in the training job, because it's gonna have different name. Okay, so getting back to this one, let me briefly check other messages. Okay, here's okay. More. Okay, here. How we doing? Okay. One thing I just saw remark about waiting for my Visual Studio Code to connect with your Azure account. If it's, wait, what I'm trying to say. Let me get back and collect my thoughts. So sometimes when you do this connection the first time with your Azure account, it could open a pop-up window in your browser. By any chance, the pop-up windows are blocked in your browser, you cannot see it, and that's why it will be also on this. It's my answer to Magdalena about connection from Visual Studio Code to the Azure account. So in this case, if this pops up are blocked and it's not open in the browser, it just could get in the loop. So what I recommend to try to again to sign in. Then it should work. Let me check what for the workshop number 3, because it was like yes outline. I'm just checking prerequisites. And the connection depends on what you choose to run for. So Magdalena, if you're using this as login use device code, that's what I mean. So literally, it's when you do this command in your Visual Studio Code in your terminal, then when it could literally try to go back to a browser and open this pop-up window. And if it's not opening, then there is no way to get it. Okay, you connected. Type in workspace. Okay, connected. Okay, let me just check it. I'm curious. Just let me check. I'm reading the messages from Magdalena, so that's like what I'm trying. Okay, so you connect with you. So Magdalena, just to clarify, so you did this as login use device code. Now you are in, right? And then it's getting back to you with this stories about prompt to type in the workspace now. And just to double check, Magdalena, you're running workshop 3, right? So let's wait for Magdalena answer. And in the meantime, I'm curious for Claire. So how goes your story about killing the computing instance and starting the new goes on? I'm just curious. Let's see. Okay, let's check. Okay, so I'll get more information from Magdalena. Just let me check, let me read it. Okay, so you're not running a workshop yet. Okay, you log into Azure, get your Azure extension running on VS and connect to Azure. So if you go to workshop 3, there are different ways how to run it. So using different setups, and there you also have a possibility to connect to. So for now, if you're installing, okay, so you're in Conda Spaces. Okay. Sorry, more information coming in, and just updated my answer on a go, like an online learning model, which is adjust to the new input. Let me just get back to it. So you're on Conda Spaces for GitHub for workshop 3. Okay, so you went with GitHub Coder Spaces, great. Okay, and you download. Okay, so you here on the GitHub Code Spaces. Good. So you already says. Okay, so you're on Coder Spaces, and Magdalena, just want to double check with you that you created Coder Spaces. So you get this message that the Coder Space is created for you, right? I'm just checking there is some extra information. So Coder Space recent usage. Just checking it. And you're on a Coder Space, then you go. Okay. Mm-hmm. And just a second, Magdalena, for Claire. What I'm thinking, another option could be you can try out different compute options. So you have this D is a general purpose standard DS12 V2. Probably you can go to the smaller one. And I'm just checking in the meantime also what could be the smaller option for you. So if this particular one doesn't want to start, just to see what is the closest option to it. And then I get back to Magdalena. Okay, let me check for Claire first. So it was D series. So it was D1. DV2, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Oh no, just yeah, v2 DS12 v2. Okay, so it was this D12 v2, DS12. Wait, DS12 v2. Standard DS12. Standard DS12 v2. Okay, just a second. I found also a new update from Claire. Okay, trying through. Yes, Claire, you can try that one as well. So they are, let's say, in the closed categories, because what it literally stands for. So D stands, it's like general purpose compute, if I'm not mistaken. S stands for like premium storage, and then the number goes about VM size. And then further you go to about the v2 stands for version. So literally, yeah, it should work, Claire. I think try it out. Yeah. Or other way around, you can try the bigger one. So it's like instead of DS12, it could be the bigger one, because DC11 so just like smaller. That could be, yeah. Sorry, this is for just give more context. The Claire has issues with starting virtual machine. It just like keep, not starting it yet, and just like in a starting virtual machine limbo. It gets stuck somewhere here, so should try to kill it and thinking about starting the new one. And the question, what is the closest, which will be enough for the workshop. So that was more the question. Yeah, let's try. Let's see how it go. And sorry, getting back to Magdalena. And getting back here. So the last thing that we were, it was, okay, got a spaces. Okay, you have on GitHub. So Magdalena, could you just give probably a short updates how you, like whether it's connected or not? Still experiencing this issue, it's already passed. Okay. Okay, and for Sushma, who tried now to also use GitHub Code Spaces for Workshop 3, the login was successful, but as it didn't work. It says not logged in. That's interesting. Let me check. So as login happens, but then as the need doesn't say, it doesn't make not logged in. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, you already switched from GitHub Codespaces to Azure Container. Okay, for setting up environment. Okay, so get to the container instance. Let me know how it goes, because just to make sure that you're answering questions that are still relevant. Okay, so I had, in the meantime, update from Claire. So you tried to run the CLI command, it failed. Okay, I think the one is killed that stopped yet. Probably it's kind of stuck, so stopping others to start. Yes, so if you have this limitation that you only capable of running this one instance on this size of machine, so first of all, I recommend you to refresh the browser, because if you're accessing it from a graphical user interface, it could be that it's already probably stopped, but just to make sure that it's already stopped. If not, there are some command which you can use literally to try to check it from the command line. So let me know, Claire, whether you're familiar with command line or not, because if it's, then we can just take a look at the commands that you can probably assess what's kind of virtual via CLI. Yes, okay, so you tried to run the CLI commands, great. Oh, sorry, it's still this. Yeah, because if the machine is not stopped, definitely it's not going to allow you to spin up another one. So for this one, let's see. It's, by the way, also a really nice thing. So to check in your not error, but issues mitigation. What are you going to do? So that's what happened. Your virtual machine is literally stuck. It's as I mentioned, in this virtual machine limbo. And then what could be as well, if you, I just want to double check. So if you try to stop it from graphical user interface and then also trying to stop it from CLI, when you said you rerun the CLI command, you rerun the CLI command to create the new virtual machine, or you used the CLI command to stop the machine? Because there is also a CLI command just I don't remember everything by heart, but it's as wait. So here you have your that's configuration creation. Here you have as ML compute crate. Let me check. Okay. Okay, so I'm waiting while Claire is typing. Let me double check what do we have here? Okay, Magdalena is good, great. I'm curious about Sushma. You managed to do this with Azure Container and now it's working or not? Just let us know. And now I'm checking, there is another message. Let me check that I'm seeing. Okay, so okay, in the workshop, one as login device code facing an issue, the link that shows up after the comment is leading to a blank page. Check I don't know which browser you're using, Needy. Check the setup of the browser, because as I mentioned, if the pop-up is blocked, then it's going to give you a blank page or something like this, because usually just open, if I'm not mistaken, when you do the first time as login device, it's open a separate patient browser, which requests you to log in there via browser. And if it gives you a blank page, then you need to check the settings of your browser. What is what action do you allow it to perform? If it does make sense to you, okay. And then I wait, and Claire was typing something, so I'm just waiting to get it through. Okay. Okay, get a sequence of action. Let me check it. Okay, so for Claire, okay, let's check sequence of events. Yeah, kills one that's not being created. Okay, try run CLI command to restart the running, failed because, yes, of course, you exceeded your allowance. Use a graphical to restart another VM. Okay, currently the one is killed is spinning and saying deleting. The one I tried to close is okay, created. Okay, then just Claire, for now, just wait. I also checked, like it's not like the smallest one, but probably we need this compute because of the task in hand. But still, for me, it's really strange that it takes so much time. But let's see. Yeah, let's just wait when it's gonna delete. And also, graphical user interface is gonna usually lag in behind the. It's gonna lag behind the way you do with CLI. So it usually has more time to process it. Let's see how it goes. Okay, and Finidi, let's see. Yeah. Great. Okay, here. Thank you. Let's see. Let's check here. No, Claire. I think just evening, and probably in your specific region, just a lot of people decided to get access to this one. Probably there is the same. Oh, cool, Nidia. I'm happy that it's working for you. Great. For Claire, we have a decent amount of workshops running at the same time. And imagine, like we mentioned, 77 locations, not all in the same region, but the majority, like a couple of them will be in, I assume we use Western Europe region. So it covers a couple of countries. And imagine at this specific moment, this amount of participants using this learning subscription try to spin up this type of virtual machine. So this could be an issue. Too many concurrent requests. Okay, let's check here. It works. Okay, great. Let me double check what's happened here on the still working it. Okay, let's check. Again here. And in the meantime, when we're doing this, I just want to say welcome back to Anna, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
No, actually, it's
who
the
will
same with
be
Polish names.
there with us
We
in 8
often
minutes.
use-
Okay, so let me check what other people are doing. Still working it. Okay, let us know. Because for the workshop 3, there is literally like this 3 different options which you can use. Yeah. That's why let's see how it goes. But at least we know that for Magdalena it worked. So always go to spaces. That's nice. And for the login, we will see. Okay. Good, beautiful people. Just to say, like, we still in the process. I know everyone is in this workshop mode, is great. However, time flies by. So in 7 minutes, we're gonna switch to our lightning talk. Then it will be 10 minutes, so from 40 to 50. And then we have the last moments for closing remarks. If you have any more questions and you still want to work on workshops, you get stuck, there is a really nice way to learn how to Google your problems. I would say that it's less, no, sorry, let me phrase it correctly, underestimated skill of any developer. If you know exactly what to Google and how to Google, or if you use it in any other browser search engine, you're gonna go really, really far. So let's see. So in 6 minutes, we're gonna start with brief presentation, and still in these 6 minutes, are we answering questions? So, thanks, Claire. Don't worry. I would recommend Claire to try out tomorrow, so just in case, so you know. But make sure that still the one is deleted. So just double check it to make sure that it's not. Imagine if the first virtual machine will be deleted and the new one will be created, that it's not eating your credits during the day. So just to make sure you can just get back to it, let's say in an hour or something, just to check how it's going. Okay, the rest of okay. Let's go in here. Okay. Okay, and here still working it. Okay, good. Okay, cool. Just walking around. So for now, I'm gonna. I'm still going to keep it on the screen for extra 5 minutes. And then we're going to back to the rest of it. Okay. Keep me updated how it's going. I'm curious. Because this is, at least here it's worked, so I'm happy about that. And also what I want to add here is an addition, like with each small step that you achieve today, I can celebrate it already, especially for those who are doing it for the first time. Okay. Oh, great, Sushma. Congrats that this works for you. Whew. This is the most happiest part, when you have the issue and you have solved it. Great. Okay. I'm happy that it works. I'm going for the latest rounds of checking up how everybody's doing. Just, okay. I would say you're doing really great job so far. I think I created a nice sequence of action. I'm going checking meetup messages, then I go checking PyLadies email, then I go checking the YouTube messages in the circles all the way around. Okay, so I gently started. I know that for some of you, you finally managed to do the setup and you finally managed to get the first steps done. So I know it's really nice. I just want to get you to a little bit different mode. As I mentioned today, we're here to learn. So, and this will be our talk in 2 minutes about. So what I want to say, first of all, for those, I just keep repeating it and I'm still continue to repeat it. For those for whom it was the first time cloud workshop, especially doing ML on the clouds, huge kudos to all of you. So you today learn at least how to connect, how to set up your basic dev environment. It's already a huge step. For those who are more proficient, also great, because now we have things to try out, play around with. So great. So I think I will get back to this last reminder. Let me open it in the meantime. Okay, so just to get back to where we started, we are here now. So I'm going for the last round. Yep. Okay, it looks good here. Looks good here. So thanks a lot everyone who today joined our Global AI Bootcamp workshop. Just as a reminder, is a global event which is happening in 77 countries during these 3 days. So it's really nice. And usually, like, it has the same structure. We start with a keynote, then we go to the workshop. But as I mentioned, today we decided to do it a little bit differently. And we decided to create something small for you as a surprise, a lightning talk from really beautiful speakers. So I think I will now stop sharing my screen and just give, okay, stop sharing my screen, just give us space to Anya. So Anya, unmute yourself. Feel free to talk and share your screen. And floor is yours for next 10 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure and actually a huge privilege. So I will use my time wisely and I will share my screen immediately. And I think we will get it and take it from there. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, so I like to think that the questions we ask are in a way more important than the answers we give. For one simple reason, answers may change, but the questions, at least some of them, once asked, they have the power to last forever. Like, is there life on other planets? What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Who am I? What do I dream about? And to dream about something means to want to be somewhere else, sometimes to be someone else, to be somewhat else. It is the need of change that makes us dream, of getting from today to tomorrow, from A to B. And we would like it to be simple. In our imagination, in our dreams, and often in our initial plans, it often is. Although I feel like most of us already accepted that it does not always look like this. And we are more and more willing to consider that it looks rather like this. In my personal experience, and maybe in yours too, I know that it almost always looks like that. And I could say that I know this because I'm a very smart psychologist with a PhD, but actually I know this for very different reasons. I'm just a person who lived through this experience. I went from working in an outpatient clinic with children and adolescents, from being a new university teacher to a data scientist, from living in my homeland to moving 1,000 kilometers away. I am a person who took the leap, and it was far from easy. Well, changes are messy. And when you think about it, it may seem obvious that they are the sequences of back and forth, of 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. There are falls and failures intertwined with joys and successes, but still they remain risky and they can lead us to unexpected places. They can take us into new roles, which we may find hard to integrate with the self that we know, especially that we have the tendency to define ourselves through roles that we have. Roles provide contexts for our behavior. Thanks to the requirements of the role, we are often able to tell if we are doing well or if we need to improve. But they also compartmentalize our behavior, but even more, they have the power to do the same with our knowledge and our experience, making us less flexible. For me, it took me really a while to understand how I can use my clinical and academic skills in the data analytics world, how to go even further and integrate my whole experience, my whole me, me as a woman, a daughter, a sister, a partner, and a dog owner, a yoga enthusiast, an archer, because that's also what I love and do, an artist in me, a researcher that I'm naturally, that I naturally am. Like every of these parts of my experience, every of these roles taught me a lot of important things. And it really was not easy to see that all of those skills and experiences are transferable. I know now that I can bring all of this to what I'm doing because all of these are my strengths. So after 3 years of working in finance sector, I took another leap and I joined a health IT company in Luxembourg, where I can actually combine my clinical and analytical experience and skills. But I took another one and I became a member of Women in Data, which is an international organization that is gathering female data scientists. And using my skills and knowledge, I lead the Luxembourg chapter. I facilitate a self-development group that we have. We call it Growth Group. And we meet there for workshops that help us not only understand how we can contribute better to our careers, but also develop as people. And I mentor those who can and want to change their careers into the data science field. So taking this all together, what helps in the process? And what you see first was actually one of the hardest things, because it seems that what really is useful is to give yourself time. I'm a person who naturally rushes. If I can walk, I will probably run. But now I know that I need to give myself time, not only to learn, but also to rest, not only to run, but also to stop, and not only to succeed, but also to fail. Because learning and adaptation to anything that's new is like programming. It's an iterative process, and we need to take this into account. So I encourage you to be gentle with yourself and remember that you are the master of your time. So you can stop when you feel lost. You can stop and look around. You can stop when you feel tired and take the time to rest. Because although it's very hard to believe sometimes, really answers come when you stop. This is when they have the chance to actually cut up with you. And try to use all your experience and knowledge, regardless of its origin. Because I think that to think outside of the box, it means also to be able to transgress our own habits and the mental frameworks that we are used to. Be curious. And this is also something that is very close to my heart. Be curious about details and about the big picture, about others, about yourself, about the place that you're in. Ask. And ask the most crazy questions that come to your mind. Because as you maybe remember, questions are forever. And it is questions that help us grow and seek. There was a scientist called Jaak Panksepp, who was investigating emotional functioning in mammals. And he discovered that in our brains, we have something that he called a seeking system. And this seeking system is responsible for curiosity and exploration. It is particularly interesting that this network, when activated, it helps us not only to focus on what caught our attention, not only to organize our behavior around what interested us, but actually, when it is active, it contributes to lowering anxiety levels. So, in a way, we may say that to be fearless, we just need to stay curious. To handle those giant leaps that you saw in the title, we just need to become explorers. But when you think about it, it's not that hard because we are genetically designed for this. We are the species of explorers and innovators. We are able to find ways to get to any place on this planet and few places beyond. We are able to survive in almost every habitat on Earth, thanks to the innovations that we've made. And the very fact that you are here today means that you are a dreamer too, that you want your tomorrow to be different than your today, that you are curious because you learn. And as long as you are curious, you got this. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We're gonna do the round of applause here. Thanks a lot. You can stop sharing your screen. Great. I think for now we go into, let's say, the last round of today's event. So feel free to continue with workshops. I'm really curious to see the results and to see how it's going on. Also really curious to see the feedback about, especially the workshop number 1, which is about using and debugging, using responsible AI dashboard to debug your model. So I think to close it more properly, as I mentioned, the subscription you get is dependent on the region. So if you want to try the workshop, don't forget to stop all the resources with the first one. If something broken or something doesn't work, you can always search answers on the internet, and if you really got stuck, you can always get back, and you're not capable of finding it, you can get back to our global Slack channel, PyLadies, where there is a channel called Help Me, literally where the people from all over the world supporting you if you got stuck, just for you to know. So just a quick overview, what's coming, what's next. So this event was a little bit not so traditional for us. As you know, we usually run in the events at the end of the month. So usually we do it in the 3rd, 4th week of the month. So that's why we're going to try to keep this cadence further. But we really want to give you this opportunity to join this Global AI Bootcamp today. So, but usually it's end of the month, because literally 1 week ago we used to have another event, so we had like a pretty heavy schedule, I would say, like 2 events in a row almost every week. So we survived. So it's also something for us, something new to explore, I would say, if not taking account bootcamps that we've done before. So what to expect in the upcoming 3 months we scheduled so far. So I couldn't give you the direct link to each month, because we are setting out in which months what's going to happen, but what's going to happen. So there will be a workshop dedicated to doing data science using Snowpark library. So that will be for those who work with Snowflake. You can take a look at it. Then there will be a workshop. So for those who attended our previous one, we investigated PyTorch. So there was a workshop from AI researcher on the PyTorch, and now she's gonna give you a deep dive into the federated learning concept. So if you're interested in federated learning, how does it work, how it looks like probably in PyTorch, just in case, just saying there are also different framework. This TensorFlow federated, there is also a Flower, which helps you to run your scikit-learn models in distributed way. So we're going to handle it one of the month. And then there will be also continuation of our series, career in Python. So Bhumika, could you probably say something about it, or like a small teaser if we have any?
I think we have 2 speakers lined up, one about Python in agriculture industry,
Whoa.
second one about Python in finance. And
Cool.
the third one is still being finalized, but it will most probably be in June. So if you
Okay.
want to take a big leap and take Anya's advice, then yeah, maybe look out for that one.
Okay, great. And for now, preliminary plan that the snow park workshop and the federated learning workshop, they will be both online. And this career in Python, we trying to investigate. It could be or offline, or it could be hybrid, or it will be offline. Sorry, online. So we are trying out to see what it will be, and if it will be offline or hybrid, it will be definitely somewhere in Amsterdam. So as you get used to. So. Also, another, let's say, updates for more longer term. So there are two big events coming up soon. So one will be in the summer, it will be EuroPython. So just for you to know, the call for papers is open right now. So if you're interested to speak at the EuroPython, or you afraid to speak because it's first time for you, there is a special group who is going to support first time speakers. So I would say I encourage you to apply if you have an interesting topic that you used to work with using Python, or interesting library you used to work with, or probably your summer project that you contribute to. So if it's interesting, available for people, go for it and submit for call for proposals. So this is for EuroPython. It's going to happen in Ireland, in Dublin. But at the same time, they have always this online part of it. So it doesn't mean that you need to fly there. So you can also join online as a speaker and also as attendant. And another thing, which is more local one, somewhere in September, we're going to have a PyData Amsterdam conference. So it's more dedicated to, I would say, to those who are more in the direction of data and AI, if I put in this way. So that's at least what is upcoming. So for our events, to sum up, Python with data science with Snowpark, with Snowflake using Snowpark, then the careers in Python, and federated machine learning probably with PyTorch. Probably we're going to check with the speaker. And from another side, you have like in the long term, EuroPython coming up, and then you also have the PyData Amsterdam coming up. So PyData Amsterdam, which is local events, and for EuroPython, it will be hybrid events. So there will be online, offline options. I think that's it from my side now. Bhumika, anything else that you want to add? I don't know, any messages to our
No,
workshop people today?
no. I just want to thank Anya for the really motivational talk. Was It really hit the bull's eye for me, sort of. So thank you.
What was for you, Bhumika, the most impressive part, or the part that resonates with you?
I think the part about taking time out for myself, because this week has been really busy, and 2 hours ago I was just lying flat on my bed, like I cannot do anything else today. So I understand that the most.
Yeah, I feel you. I think time for me was as well. And from another perspective, what I want to point out, so in our community, we have a specific amount of career changers. So especially we see a lot of people who, for example, switching from academia to for example, to data science. And usually when they say like, oh, first I need to learn, data science, I need to learn analytics. And then it's like, I need to learn everything from scratch. I was like, wait a second, like what kind of PhD do you have? Or like, if you're a master's student, what kind of skills you have, so imagine if I will be an owner of a medical startup and I'm going to have two CVs on my table, where the one CV will be saying I'm a data scientist with like 2 years of experience doing this for, I don't know, like automotive industry. And then you have a PhD saying, yes, I'm junior, I'm just run this courses, I tried out. This is my GitHub repo where I try to run this analysis. And this is my knowledge and skill set, like based on the like healthcare industry. Probably I will go for you because you're already a subject matter expert. So from one side, it looks like why you should go for people with less experience. Yes, less experience in data science, more experience in subject matter. So that's, I think, for a lot of people, they couldn't realize this. And it's like, yeah, really, I didn't know that it's transferable skills. So I would say there are much more transferable skills that you can imagine if you have any previous working experience. Even though we have people who will say, oh, I used to be, a Starbucks barista, and then I switched to data science. Like, what can I do? I said, the way how you can manage stakeholders is something that's really hard to get. Yeah, and you can learn it only by interacting with a lot of people. I see Anna smiling. So
Definitely. I can imagine Starbucks and handling pressure well, for example.
yes, in rush hours, yeah, something like this. Yeah, so just saying, so all your skills usually transferable. So on this note, we are closing our event today. So thanks a lot for those of you who dared to join and try it out, probably the first cloud in the first time, and by chance it was Azure. So I'm really curious, and you doing and following one of these free workshops of all workshops. And just as a reminder, all these materials are published, so you can get back to this video, you can rewatch it on your own pace. The GitHub library is also in the description of the video, or other way around. In the description of the GitHub, you also have a link to the video. So take your time. Thanks a lot. And I think for Bhumika, it's time to stop the streaming.